I don't. At least for the operation that we're doing, and that
Yeah.
this is going to be.
And I just like to mess with stuff.
Yeah,
So so me.
I'm basically the same. I mean, I'm the same way. But I don't do it with everything. Like Oh, and by the way,
Yeah.
let's just get started. We're having a good conversation already.
Sure.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. This is Alex and Rufus Talk About with your most excellent hosts, Alex and Rufus.
We were just talking about Alex's new fine
My horrible
fine microphone.
I don't even know which way I'm going right now. That's okay. I did a video yesterday of the talking about Superman spoilers, so I actually filmed on my own for once in here. I'm just off center right now, so come on, man.
Your camera doesn't look bad.
No, we do the best we can, dude. Hey, we're just two nerds talking about shit.
We need production value, Alex. We need to get $5,000 cameras and like lighting, like put lights on rails with like a button that makes them go, like different lasers shooting out all the time and explosions. Michael Bay it up here. We're gonna have like dancers start the show and smoke machines and running out of ideas.
Because we're talking again, it does make me think. I keep thinking back to how when we used to do comedy together, the type of the guerrilla rebel whatever type filming and writing and everything we did, and now it's like we're just trying to connect USB microphones and stuff, and I'm struggling with it. I just whatever.
Well, I mean, the issue then was like we had no money. We were in college. And so we were trying to do like, well, what can we do in a backyard?
in a friend of ours' backyard.
We have a spray bottle and some pencils. How can we make a skit?
I'm just double checking.
And now
I'm just double checking our audio is good this time. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, now if you try and think of a skit, it's like, well, what's funny? And so there's a lot less of the like, oh man, what's around here? Like, oh, I have some pliers. How can I turn these pliers into something? Like, oh, what if your nose was so big you had to, like, like pull your nose hairs out with the pliers or whatever, and you get crazy with the ideas because you're just improvising, right?
You're improvising on that idea yourself. You have something in front of you, and you need to come up with something for it. So, I don't know. It's fun. We had a good time. You spoke about noses real quick. Have you seen Rocky? Because I watched Rocky and Rocky 2 recently.
I haven't seen Rocky.
When boxers break their nose, they there's a guy on the side of the boxing ring, and he goes in with like a Q-tip and like unbreaks it.
Huh.
That movie for 75 or 76, and then I skipped through both of them today, the first two. The makeup work, good God, like you really felt like those two boxers went through it. And I also thought it was interesting. These are boxing movies. There's literally, I think, in the first one, the whole climax is 10 minutes out of a 2-minute movie. Like it's everyone confused. Oh, it's a boxing movie. It has nothing to do with fucking boxing. It's really just about the story. So I was just I was watching that in the same context when we talked about Superman and stuff, and then you mentioned the broken nose. They stuck the Q-tip in almost like you were messing with the pliers just there. So that'd be a cool way to fix a nose too, pliers.
Yeah. So we could do a whole plier sketch.
We could come up with something. I'm sure. Maybe not today, but
Yeah. So we both saw Superman. I think you've given your.
Well, yeah, no, let's definitely talk about it because I want to know what you think because people know what I think already. If not, I'm linking the video at the bottom of this one. But what do you think? What did you think, Rufus?
There's positives. I think it was definitely. I haven't seen your video yet, so I might be covering some ground. Sorry to be covered.
I'm gonna cover things also because I doubt anyone saw it. So.
I definitely liked that. This was a Superman who kind of got the aspect of the character right. That is, he's basically just like a big goofy farm boy who wants to help people, and like there's a point in the movie where they have, I guess, spoiler.
Yeah, this is gonna be another talk, guys. Just so everyone
knows. So and much like spoiled eggs, it will leave a bad scent in your nose. There's a point where Lois Lane and Superman are having an interview, and she starts trying to introduce all this stuff. Well, what about the politics of it? And you're representing the United States, and that was in the trailer. So I was kind of worried that the movie would become like a deconstruction of the idea that the superhero is just like a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's basically what Superman is. He's just a good guy who happens to have superpowers.
Always has been, yeah.
Um, and well, but if you look at like some of the more recent iterations, there's like Superman Returns has some messianic imagery and messianic imagery, and then I don't know what Man of Steel was, but it was starting to lose the plot a little bit as far as like
as far as what
Superman's
Superman
character
was, yeah, 100%.
and who Superman is, right?
Yeah.
So I enjoyed seeing the Superman who like is in the kaiju fight more concerned with keeping everyone from getting hurt and even keeping the kaiju from getting hurt than with like just killing the kaiju.
The comments during the kaiju fight where he goes, I really want to try to get this thing relocated or try to bring it to a zoo. That almost feels like a direct reaction to the Zack Snyder movies,
Mm-hmm.
where it was just like, whatever, he'll do what he has to. Here it's like, no, he's going to really. He's Superman, so he can have the capacity to get this done if he needs to. It's just the Justice Society or whatever the hell, Justice Gang didn't share the same values, and
yeah, Hawkgirl was entirely willing to murder people.
Of all the Justice Gang, we can talk. I don't know if we want how we want to get into this here, but of all the Justice Gang, as much as I think everyone got a good plot and stuff, and got some good screen time, she was probably the one that had the least. And
yeah, I mean,
it's tough when you're juggling this many characters. I understand that, but she definitely was kind of left out of the group.
Well, they didn't really advertise Metamorpho being in the movie. And I enjoyed that. I thought he's an underused character. DC has a lot of like one-off, or not one-off, but rarely used characters who are just oddball. Like
they fit right in James Gunn's alley. They fit right up James Gunn's alley. So someone like Metamorpho, especially when you make him kind of goofy.
Right. So I was trying to like figure out where I had heard his voice before because it seemed very familiar. And then I looked him up. Yeah, he was Dennis Caleb McCoy in Bill and Ted 3.
Oh. That makes a lot of sense. I loved that. I loved that. Bill and Ted 3 of the whole movie. Not that, not bad, but that fucking robot when it lands in hell, when it wants to hang out with them and stuff, it's goofy and it's funny. You can't help but not.
That's one of the best additions from that movie to the lore of Bill and Ted.
Yeah, much like when they added Death in the second one, and he became a really indispensable character, kind of. And I liked their breakup too. And let's talk about Bill and Ted for a second. That movie, as much as it was silly. It wasn't as good as the first two. I mean, I don't know if I don't think that, but I thought it was cool. It was a modern movie that seemingly passed the torch and passed it to female characters in a very creative way. It was not overt. It was not like, oh, Bill and Ted are failures and these women are girl bosses. It was like, hey, this is just a family working. And then at the end, they dawn on them, like, these girls are getting all these historic characters or whatever, which we've seen before. But then when it's actually they're the key, they're the Preston and Esquire that save the world. It's like, oh, that makes more sense because Bill and Ted were always fucking terrible at music. Every time they showed them playing music, they were terrible. So it makes more sense that their daughters would be the ones to come up with some type of new music. I just thought that was phenomenal, and I don't think it was heavy-handed or,
I thought it was a really fun movie.
Yeah.
And I don't think people like hold Bill and Ted in the same way of like Back to the Future or Star Wars, where they would get mad if there was a bad Bill and Ted movie that came out.
Yeah, they're just
maybe some people would.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm like Ghostbusters. There's kind of a not so great Ghostbusters movie that people got mad about.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that had to overcome the death of George Carlin.
Rufus he was a huge character in the first two movies, so you need to figure out something to. And I forget
and Kristen Schaal was good.
Excuse
me. She did her own thing, so she wasn't just trying to do Rufus.
Yeah, no, she's a quirky character in everything she's in. She does almost similar face and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. I like the additions. I forget the two daughters. I don't believe I've really seen them in anything else unless I'm going crazy.
No, I mean, I guess they set it up so they could do a Bill and Ted 4 with them,
Yeah,
if they wanted to.
yeah. If it sold and if it had enough interest and stuff in the future, but
Yeah, and I think, I don't have kids, but I have had experiences of like I did a thing, and then years later I kind of passed the torch
yeah,
and like let the next generation take over
yeah,
and say, okay, you're learning from what I've done, and I made my contribution. Now it's your turn, and that's a really like positive thing in my mind. Like that's a really good feeling. Is like, okay, I didn't accomplish everything I wanted to, but I've helped you get to the point where you can accomplish it.
yeah.
So it's a different role than you first imagine yourself being in, but it's actually a really good role to be in for me or for Bill.
Well, it's cool for the movie too to have them as the title characters be able to, not need the movie to have them as the hero kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Like Alex Winter, he did Bill and Ted, and he did The Lost Boys and a couple other
Mm-hmm.
movies. He is kind of he's had a career. I'm not gonna God bless. Keanu Reeves obviously has become kind of like I don't want to say a meme, but it's like he's known to be silly and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they're like, oh cool, we'll just come back and do a movie. But they did considering that it was not expected and it was so many years after the other ones, I thought they did a pretty good job. So
Yeah, and they didn't try and like market the heck out of it as if it would be like a huge movie. They were like, no, this needs to be kind of small scale and like,
did it come out during COVID?
yeah. So it was
Yeah.
like streaming.
I remember I remember it was definitely streaming day one, or I might have bought it or something. Like they might have charged people money to see it like a week early, and there's nothing going on during COVID, so I was like, yeah, sure, let me give me that shit. But yeah,
So I enjoyed
I like Meryl Howard,
like
Meryl
dipping
Howard, whatever.
dipping back into that universe for an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's like Superman, except not covered nearly as much. We hadn't seen Bill and Ted in 30 years, so I was like, oh, it's fun to see what they're up to.
Yeah.
We didn't address Snyderverse first for it,
so back to Superman.
Back to Superman, and yeah, that was Metamorpho's voice. I didn't recognize. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So Hawkgirl didn't get as much screen time. The actress for Hawkgirl is in Walking Dead now. She's like the girlfriend of the protagonist. So she's, I guess, up and coming.
Do you mean
not Walking Dead?
Last of Us.
Last of Us.
She's actually not a bad actress from what I've seen. I liked her in other stuff, but she just wasn't given a lot to do here. Which is not. I don't think that's a negative. I think it's when you have such a big cast that it's just someone's going to lose. But
which is the trouble with like Justice League stuff is like you need to focus on a few core characters, and she just wasn't the focus this movie, which is fine.
Which is fine. Yeah, I mean, Guy Gardner was interesting, and Mr. Terrific was clearly the big feature or the big function of the group. I don't know, the big plot.
He had the most to do.
He had the most to do that was vital to Superman.
Which is good because we haven't seen him a lot in movies.
I don't think we've seen him at all in any type of medium. Maybe the cartoons, which I don't watch.
He was in Arrowverse stuff, like the CW show.
Yeah,
like he was in a couple of seasons of that.
See, I only know of him because he was in the Justice Society for a while, and usually that's reserved for characters that were from like the Golden Age. But then they had some modern people mixed in, and Mr. Terrific was one of them. An awesome character. It was just, hey, he looked at the roster and said, who can we throw in here that's kind of interesting and can help be Superman's get out of jail free card? Because, when you're opening dimensional portals and stuff, I was thinking like when they're like, when Mr. Terrific was like, we need your help here in Metropolis because Lex Luthor opened up a portal. I'm like, what's Superman going to do? Like laser the portal shut? Threaten Lex to give him the code? That hasn't worked before. So
I mean, it's very Silver Age kind of plot. So the other thing I liked was they did some time in Smallville with Ma and Pa Kent.
Yeah.
And they were very, very Kansas.
Yeah. They almost didn't seem like actors.
They
just seemed
they kind of felt like you went into you found the grandparents of someone from Kansas and you were like,
people. We showed up at their house and told them I was your grandson. They're like, oh,
they start talking about burritos. Like, oh, I want to try the new burrito place. So I enjoyed that, and that kind of James Gunn in his interviews about it mentioned a few different Superman comics he was using as like inspiration. So one was All Star Superman. I don't know if you've read any of these specifically.
No, go ahead. If I did,
then a Superman for All Seasons, and then Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. So I think that took a lot of inspiration from a Superman for All Seasons, which is like, I'll give some light spoilers since you haven't read it, which is like, it starts out with Clark in Smallville at like the age when he's about to go off to Metropolis.
Okay.
In spring, and then it goes to, so that's one issue, and then the next issue is summer when he's first in Metropolis, and then fall or winter he comes back to visit Smallville after something bad happens in Metropolis, and he needs to like reconnect with his roots and like why he's doing what he's doing and all that. So that has a lot of Ma and Pa Kent in it, and it's sort of like, seeing his childhood room, and like that has more Lana Lang than Lois Lane.
Yeah. Which traditionally Lana is the Smallville love interest. Mm-hmm. So
right. So it was good to see that aspect of Superman where they didn't need to do the thing with killing his father, or his father dying, because that lesson about like, oh, you can't save everyone wasn't the point of this movie.
Yeah.
So it didn't need to be here.
I found, even though they didn't have a lot of screen time, and I think I might have recognized the actor for Pa Kent. I have no idea who the mother was. The father almost looked like someone I saw in 90s movies that just got old. Mm-hmm. But I thought they were, for what they did, it was like they were the most memorable Superman parents we've had.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Kevin Costner one, I don't like who. There's nothing that even comes up as memory from him. But Pa Kent here explaining like that we raised you and stuff, and you were born here, was like, that's huge. That's what you want to hear from a dad when you're not sure what's going on and stuff. So,
when they did the like Smallville TV series, mm-hmm. I remember they cast relatively young people to be his parents. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of weird because Tom Welling, who played Superman, that
kind of looked old,
was like 25.
He looked older than I.
And then the people playing his parents were like
30,
28 or 29 or something. So he was almost older than the people playing his parents.
Yeah.
But in the comics, they're like already old when they find him as a baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Traditionally, they're an older family that never had kids, or an older couple,
mm-hmm.
and that's why Superman's like a miracle baby for them. But they keep aging them down in various media, mm-hmm. I guess. I mean, Smallville, I guess it was a CW show, so they had to age everyone mm-hmm. down. Nobody wants to see old people on the CW.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I love the scenes in Kansas. I thought it was great. As far as like, we got to get him somewhere safe where they can't find him and stuff. Well,
mm-hmm.
It was.
I liked the portrayal of Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
I just hate Superman. Like, I don't know a reason. I just hate him.
He was formidable this time. It wasn't like, I mean, as much as I love the Gene Hackman and other Lex Luthors, they always needed to rely on a trick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I'll get Superman out of the way. No, this guy flat out, he was going to build a system to basically fight Superman himself,
mm-hmm.
which you can see where if there's going to be a sequel, I assume there is, it could evolve to him in the power suit.
Mm-hmm.
Because you saw, I mean, in some of the, I was actually expecting Lex Luthor in the power suit to fight Superman, because in some of the toys that came out, and
they had the team in power suits.
Oh, okay, maybe I missed that. Okay,
because remember he had the team that was like Ultraman,
the Raptors,
and the Raptors or whatever, and then the Engineer, and then there was a bunch of people in power suits.
He probably could.
That was another thing.
One of those suits, yeah.
Yeah. That was another thing from Superman for All Seasons was there's a scene in that where Lex is like trying to convince everyone he's reformed, so he basically creates a team of people in power suits to fight fires and fight crime and stuff. And then they're like getting in the way of Superman. He's like, "Stop it! You don't know what you're doing."
Then he pisses him off. Well, again, and Lex is literally, it wasn't about land. It wasn't a secret thing. It literally is he wants to kill Superman because he doesn't like
Mm-hmm.
that he had to work and he's here and he had to use his brain and this guy comes down and just has magic
Mm-hmm.
muscles and stuff. It's a deconstruct, but it's funny. That's because that's what Lex Luthor has always really been. He's just like, he's about humanity and the way he did it. He's not about
Mm-hmm.
someone, getting a leg. I don't know. I thought it was great. I thought Nicholas Hoult did a great job.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, and I think they gave Lois more to do than she usually has in Superman movies. Because usually she's more of the damsel in distress role where she's the one who's kidnapped and then Superman has to save her.
yeah,
And in this, it's more of a reversal of this where he is in the jail cell and then she has to break into another universe to rescue him.
Yeah. Well,
Like she relies on someone on Mr. Terrific to do it, but she
coordinates and she gets out there to help because if she didn't go, then he would still be in that prison or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because sometimes movies feel they have to have a competent female lead or a foil to the male, like they have to put down the male. And when they had that discussion at the beginning, it was just a good discussion among people in a relationship or friends or whatever. I didn't get the feeling that she was trying to say that he's stupid and he doesn't know what he's doing. It was literally just, hey, did you think of it from this perspective? And it showed that Lois is, an intelligent person and is capable on her own and stuff. But also, she's not putting down Clark. She just has her own questions.
Well, there's some light teasing, but
yeah, but not
because she is
in a relationship and she's meant to be feisty.
Yeah,
but
in diegetically in the universe, she is the better reporter than Clark Kent.
Oh, by far, yeah.
And he is like getting a front page story or whatever by
Superman.
Misconduct of interviewing himself.
Yeah.
Like,
I love how she pointed that out. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like she's not wrong. She's 100%. You're interviewing yourself, really? You can't just give me the front page. We'll give you the picture, Mark. How's that? And I love Jimmy Olsen actually becoming a character this time. I don't think Jimmy Olsen, outside of that silly comic book they had back in the day, I don't think he's ever had any type of storyline that mattered. This was kind of fun, making him this
Superman's pal.
Making him Superman's pal and making him some weird ladies' man.
Yeah, that was one thing that didn't fully gel for me.
I didn't understand why he was considered a ladies' man. I feel like we all missed something. Unless if the whole point was that he dated that woman who was,
I think
it was Eve Tessmacher, so they brought back the Tessmacher name. So if the whole idea was that he dated her and then that made him more desirable to the other women, that was the only thing I could come up with.
I think it was supposed to be a joke of like he's like a nerdy little guy and he's not Superman, but nevertheless he's very succursuell with women.
Yeah, clearly.
And that's supposed to be funny, and I don't think that in and of itself is that funny.
No.
For one thing, he's like a regular looking guy in this. Like he's not ugly.
Yeah.
He has a good job. He's a photographer for a newspaper, like the only photographer who works there. So it's like a really good middle class, creative, artistic job.
Yeah.
And so, like, I can see why women would be attracted to him. Like, he's not. There's nothing wrong with him, right?
Yeah,
like,
no, exactly. There's nothing wrong with the young man.
So then, like, he really doesn't treat the woman very well.
That's what I didn't get.
Her name is Mutant Toes. Yeah.
Which I kept expecting to be like, who in Superman's lore is going to have toes that are monstrous? And then I realized this guy, it's like George Costanza, where he has the choice of so many women that he will find a woman that's perfect and say, well, her toes are weird. So that's what that was.
And it's not like she was perfect.
Well, no, she was.
So that was the other
generally
part of that I didn't.
Attractive, so.
Yeah. Well, that was the other part of it I didn't love was like she was portrayed in a very like negative way in the sense that like she is so stupid, and she's like, oh, she's the whole time she's gathering evidence is the thing, but she's also like.
Does she know
is stupid, like thinking. Yeah, so that's what she was doing when she was doing the selfies.
I
And
understand
she
that,
knew it had this stuff in the background is why she sent it to Jimmy.
but it seemed like there were so many selfies that were not. Maybe I guess she sent them everything. It just almost seemed to me like she was just taking pictures of everything. She didn't know what anything was, but she just
Hmm.
happened to take pictures of. That was what I got.
Well, I
Not
mean,
that she went out of her way to take pictures of nefarious
she
things,
knew
but
she knew he sent Superman to a pocket universe.
she laid down on that map though and stuff. So that one I guess
Hmm.
was kind of damning because why else would you lay down on a map?
Well, she knew he had sent him to a pocket universe. She didn't know the significance of that,
Yeah,
but she knew enough about what was going on to like know to warn Jimmy about it,
yeah.
basically. So she was aware, and she was kind of integral to doing that. But then I guess the joke is, oh, she's so clingy that now, oh no, Jimmy has a woman interested in him, and he can't say no to her for some reason. Um,
I liked it.
I mean, it wasn't as funny as I think the movie thought it was funny.
I thought it would have been more interesting if, but because Jimmy hemmed and hawed on the phone with her when she was
Mm-hmm.
sending him the stuff, if that resulted in her death, because that would have been more. That would have been
Mm.
much. It would at least again. I mean, Luther already showed how evil he was, but it's like you found this woman like cheating on you and all. I don't think he would just put her in the pocket, but he was putting everyone in the pocket dimension. So,
Yeah.
um, what did you think about the
Well, I
scene
mean, I
of
think
her?
he kills people when there's utility to doing it.
Yeah,
Like the one guy he directly kills, he's doing it to like make a point to Superman,
yeah.
right?
What did you think about
Um,
the Russian roulette scene?
so for
Definitely,
one thing,
it was jarring for the rest from the rest of the movie because
well, so the thing that jarred me here is right after he kills the guy, he said, "Oh, I thought that wouldn't have happened that quickly." But Lex understands probability,
yeah,
right? So he's a smart guy. So he would have known, okay, there's 6 chambers in this gun. So there's a 1 in 6 probability in the first round that I will kill this person. And then in the second round, if I haven't killed them in the first round, the probability is now 1 out of 6, um, plus the probability that they weren't killed in the first round, which is 5 out of 6. So it ends up working out to about a 30% probability that within the first 2 rounds he'll be killed. So that's not that unlikely, and he
it's
wouldn't
one
known
out of
that.
three when there's six chambers. So yeah, that's
Right.
not exactly what you would want to hear if you were on the other side.
Yeah. So like that should not have surprised Lex Luthor. Is what I'm saying.
I couldn't tell if it surprised him or he was just kind of mocking the situation.
He was. I mean, he was mocking the
I think he was kind
situation,
of like,
but
"Well, Superman, well, I gave you literally one chamber to answer the question.
mm-hmm,
Sorry, I'm gonna go find another person, and maybe it'll be
mm-hmm,
someone more important." It was literally just. I mean, I thought, but it was interesting because usually in these scenes when they bring out that character from earlier in the movie, they don't
mm-hmm,
kill them. Usually it's like they fake them, they make them piss themselves, they
mm-hmm.
beat them or something. They don't just blow their head off, and yeah, it
Well, I
just
mean, I think it's a little bit tonally different from most of the rest of the movie.
yeah.
But Lex is the bad guy, right?
It's meant to be no, and it stands out, and I think it does its job. So I think that was pretty awesome.
So the whole universe he created is both very silly in a Silver Age comic kind of way, but also like I they did different interesting things with it, like the monkey troll farm for negative
I
comments.
liked that he
That was a
wasn't.
little bit of meta
I
commentary.
liked that he wasn't nuts. That Superman wasn't crazy when he was like,
Mm-hmm.
"There's these people out there and they're just messing with me." And then you see, it's like, no, he wasn't paranoid. There's just an army of
Mm-hmm.
monkeys, literally writing about him 24/7. So, I mean,
Well, I
usually
mean that's
it'd be like he was being sensitive. It's like, no, he's not being sensitive. They really are going after him.
it's also James Gunn making a meta commentary about like internet
Yeah, about
culture,
trolls and
right?
stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Um,
Um, so I thought that worked. Um,
what did you think about the Ultraman thing?
yeah, it was a thing. I mean, Lex Luthor has made Superman clones a bunch of times in a bunch of comics, so it's not that out of
I
character for
wasn't
him to
worried
do
about the
that.
clone part. It was just I felt stupid that because in all the lead up, even though I was avoiding the trailers and stuff, I followed the toys. I knew there was
Mm-hmm.
Ultraman in this, and because he was wearing such a weird outfit, I just never pieced together. I was like, oh yeah, Ultraman is that classic Superman character from Earth 2 or whatever, or you know,
Yeah, so I mean, I kind of
like
figured out he was
space stuff in
Kryptonian
that. Yeah.
when he was in that first scene when he was had laser vision.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay, it's a Kryptonian,
Yeah.
and the fact he was able to beat up Superman. So I was like, I didn't know specifically it was going to be a Superman clone.
Yeah.
Um, but then it opened. He opened the Fortress of Solitude.
Hmm.
So and it said something like, "Oh, it's tied to my DNA." I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, okay, so it's a
Well, they
Superman
didn't
clone."
say that until later, though.
Yeah,
The tied to the. I assumed Lex had just hacked, just knew how to do something. I had no idea he would have.
right. So in the scene, you're kind of like, "Oh, this Lex is just that good,"
Yeah, you're just
and
exactly. You just think it's Lex. Yeah.
they're portraying it as if like he's so good he doesn't even need to explain why. Oh, so at the fortress though, the thing with his mother and Jor-El and Lara, um, being like, "Oh yeah, go conquer the humans."
I still don't think that that's what's going to be revealed, or they left themselves open where they can go
Mm-hmm.
a couple ways with it, depending on what the fans think.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a risk. Because historically, Jor-El is good.
In most
Most
portrayals,
portrayals, him and Lana are good.
in Smallville, he was kind of like this, where he was like, "Go conquer the humans."
Okay, interesting. I didn't know that.
He was a little bit of an antagonist there.
But even the tone of the conversation up until the point that it's cut off, and then
Mm-hmm.
the rest could be manipulated. It didn't seem like it was going to all of a sudden say, "Now rule them." Just
Mm-hmm.
the way the conversation was flowing. So I just don't believe it because they said, well, language
You need a harem
experts.
of wives.
Yeah, like language. Jeez, the harem. They stuck on that harem point for like 10 minutes
Yeah,
and then they dropped it. They didn't hear it. I didn't hear it again. I was like, is it supposed to piss off Lois? Or I mean, it's supposed to like because he's like a good
but then Lois
Kansas
didn't
boy.
buy it.
Yeah, Lois just
Yeah.
immediately knows that it's horseshit, all of it. But it's funny because
Mm.
they want to hurt his image. Um, but no, I was like, oh, so no,
Um.
it just I don't know. I
Yeah, I
think
mean,
they left themselves open
Mr.
because they could go
Terrific
either
was
way.
like, I know those experts. They wouldn't lie,
Yeah, no, I'm
right?
not saying that
So
they would lie, but I'm saying that like, why would Earth experts be able to break down Kryptonian
yeah.
anyway with that accuracy? It seems almost
Well, I
like
think
sometimes
the thing
experts just start agreeing with each other.
in Smallville, it was something like, oh, Jor-El said rule, and then when there's like, well, but the Kryptonian word for rule and lead are very similar. So what he actually meant was lead.
Yeah.
But then it changed Jor-El's speech in that to something like, "You will lead the humans with an iron fist."
Oh,
It's
Jesus.
just so it's not like
So it
that much better.
really doesn't sound that great when you break it down.
No,
Yeah. But no,
but it was better than.
we'll see which way they go on it because I think it could be one of those things that they leave open or either reference again
Mm-hmm.
or and make it. Or I saw online someone suggested, well, perhaps there is a different dimension Superman,
Mm-hmm.
and that's maybe Lex was lying. He didn't actually clone Superman. He just found. I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was interesting that Ultraman got sucked into that dimension at the end because
Right.
that almost seems like he's going to come back, but this time he's going to actually have a brain. Because the way they
Well, they
portrayed
made
it was
it.
that he was a robot. He was Superman, but he couldn't think on his own. Um, you know,
Some people online were speculating that, like, so in the Pocket Universe is a bunch of cube stuff.
yeah,
Um, so they people were speculating, well, this is where you get the cube backwards Earth from Bizarro.
sure, yeah,
So in Bizarro, in some versions, is a failed clone of Superman
okay, that I didn't know.
by Lex Luthor.
Interesting,
So Bizarro is in some versions clone of Superman. Then Superboy in some versions,
sure,
Connor Kent
yeah,
is
yeah.
clone.
And the ones
Um,
I'm more familiar with, Superboy is what had been cloned by, or Supergirl. I remember in the '90s
mm-hmm,
was cloned also by Lex Luthor.
mm-hmm,
Supergirl was his like personal bodyguard and assistant for a number of years.
mm-hmm.
Um,
And right, so and then so they did have a brief Supergirl at the end appearance, which I guess leads into another movie. I guess they're doing a Supergirl
I think they
movie.
filmed it. Well, that's where I think the Lobo rumors came from because Lobo is in the supposedly Lobo is in the Supergirl movie. So
Okay.
a lot of people were saying, well, because Lobo is consistently a bounty hunter and stuff, maybe he's involved, or maybe he was even Ultraman. You know,
I see.
but
Well, it sounded. They made it sound like it's going to be more of like an off-Earth adventure thing because she was like, oh, she likes to go party on planets with red suns.
Yeah, exactly. The planets that have red suns in their solar system.
The red light district.
Yeah.
Of the galaxy.
That is funny. Yeah, that she can actually get drunk there. Woo.
Yeah. So all we get is like the funny, like she calls him bitch and like explains why Crypto is so ill behaved and which is actually a fun portrayal of Crypto. Is basically like as a dog.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I thought it was cool. Like Crypto, you understand why, Superman's fostering him, and then you understand it really resonates with anyone with a dog or something when he's like, "Well, Crypto's alone right now. I got to go find him because he's probably scared, even though we're not BFF." But and then at the end, when you see it was a nice cameo. It didn't matter for the movie. She didn't come in and save the day. You didn't have to wait through the credits for it. It was just, hey, here's Supergirl. She's picking up her dog, going back out on adventures, and maybe we'll see that in the next movie. Who knows?
Now she could have, in theory, like
helped,
remembered Jor-El and Lara, and been like, no, actually, this is what they meant.
Well, that's the story because they're like, he's the last son of.
This Krypton. Version might be different.
He's the last son of Krypton. Where'd she come from? So what is her backstory?
In the usually. She is his cousin, right?
And she was sent first, but like took a detour to get there or something, right?
Well, they were sent at like the same time, but there's like some time effect or whatever.
Something happened.
So he gets there first, and she's in like suspended it. So he ends up older, even though
they're the same age.
Chronologically, was born in the reference frame of Krypton. She was born earlier or whatever. So she grew up on Krypton and remembers like Kryptonian and meeting people and like speaking and
interesting
the culture and stuff.
So she might have, like you said, she might have actually been one to say, no, that's Uncle Jor-El. Never would have said that.
Yeah.
He didn't even ask her. She came and grabbed the dog. He was like, yo, by the way, can I ask you about my
that's why she has the dog, right? Yeah. Is she brought, I guess in this version, she brought Crypto with her.
Yeah.
In her pod.
That's awesome. I think about it. But yeah, I liked the Crypto character. I liked how he was unruly, but they built up that he likes chasing toys, and then at the end he was able to, it's
but it's also like it's actually kind of terrifying when you think about the idea of like a dog superpowers. It would just like destroy,
just break every bone in your body when it tried to play with you and stuff.
Yeah,
I liked it. I thought it was good. I did enjoy how Superman was on his heels for most of the movie. I've heard some people online not like that. They're like, we want to see Superman powerful. To me, the essence of Superman, we know he's all powerful. We've seen we've seen scenes of him bending steel and taking gun fire and stuff. We didn't need that. Here, putting him on the defensive right off the bat, and then within the first 20 minutes, half hour, Lex Luthor raids his house and like steals Crypto, breaks all his robot friends, whatever the hell they were about, steals his parents' images. Like, he's really put on his heels, and then Earth turns against him, basically. Like, he's put on his heels within like the first 40 minutes of the movie, and he doesn't get off them until the end. I thought that was good because it's really, we haven't seen that before. We haven't seen it before with Superman. You've seen it with like Batman, where they'll turn public opinion against him and stuff. But I thought it was well done. I enjoyed seeing a Superman where he's really not sure what's going on. He doesn't know how to win the fight. You can't just punch your way out of this. So
yeah, and it's good to see a like, I think good character growth in movies is like you start at the bottom, and then you watch the character kind of crawl their way out of like the lowest situation, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Like, how do they solve problems? If Superman doesn't have any problems to solve, he's not interesting.
Exactly.
Right. And he is invulnerable, but also like the times he is losing in the movie, he's fighting Kryptonians, or he voluntarily gave himself up, or he like is I don't know, or he's like trying to save the monster, right? So he's trying to save, he's saving squirrels and little girls and whatever. So it's not that he's like not powerful enough to kill the kaiju or whatever.
Yeah.
It's that he is more focused on like, well, how do I do this with the least loss of life?
Yeah.
Right. Um, so I think that's an interesting thing you can do with Superman despite being all powerful.
Yeah.
Because I think they kind of figured out a long time ago, well, if all of the Superman stories are someone robs a bank and starts shooting at him and he deflects the bullets and arrests them,
How many times do we need to
then
see that? It's
yeah.
like we know he can do that. This is not a different version of Superman. He can do that just like any other can. So
Yeah, and there have been different power levels for Superman at different times. Um, so I don't think this is the Superman who like punches holes in the universe.
it almost seems
Or,
like he's still growing. He's still figuring out he's still maturing. I mean, like they said, he's 30. He's only been doing it 3 years or something. But he does seem like he's still because I mean he really got his ass kicked at the beginning with all the broken bones and stuff, and so it's good to see. Not good
off screen.
Off screen. I think they were going to reference that, and and then he comes right back. But I didn't think there was a lack of action. There were plenty of scenes with fights and stuff, so I didn't think they needed that. I thought it was a cool way to start the movie and just really here's the roller coaster, boom, you're off. Because if they started it on Krypton, if they started it with him in Kansas as a baby and stuff, it would have just.
We've seen that before.
We've seen it so many fucking times that nobody wants to sit there and see it again.
There's no. I don't think there's any audience member like going to this movie, except for maybe. But even kids have seen like there's Superman cartoons they've seen before. There's My Adventures of Superman. There's there's stuff like that where they've seen the origin story of Superman.
Yeah. It's an interesting way of doing it. I think eventually things will switch because we went through a period where Spider-Man, X-Men, they showed every origin really excessively, and now we're getting into a time where they're kind of like Spider-Man: Homecoming. They were like, he's already Spider-Man, he's doing his thing. So it'll be interesting to see which type kind of because they didn't have to explain Green Lantern in this movie. They didn't have to explain Hawkgirl. They were just there. Who gives a shit? They're there. They're characters.
And the audience can figure that out, right?
Yeah.
Like I bet 95% of the people in the audience have never seen Metamorpho before, right? Like I have my prior experience with Metamorpho is maybe one Justice League Unlimited episode, and then like maybe in a comic at some point.
It's a very notable looking character. It's a very interesting looking character, but I can't remember in all my years reading comics. He popped up in like the Justice League like once. Or he'd like appear in the background when they had like large meetings. He was never a character that really got a lot of, interest. So I didn't.
Not really the main character of anything.
I certainly don't know his alter ego or anything, or his actual
something.
Rex. Yeah, now I know it because of the movie. But it's like that didn't ruin my enjoyment of the movie. It's like, oh, cool. Here's Metamorpho. Let's have fun with him. So
yeah. So I think that would be a positive. They go forward with the DCU stuff. Of like rebooting the universe again is like you can have a more fun like okay, we're gonna pull some of the C-list superheroes but do something interesting with them. Which I guess was kind of the Guardians of the Galaxy thing too.
That was the other thing. I know people were worried about with James Gunn. Is he going to be able to make a Superman movie, or is it going to be Guardians of the Galaxy with Superman? I didn't get the feeling that it was Guardians-esque movie. He had bits of humor.
I mean, there was one James Gunnism.
There was one scene with like the music fighting, which is really that's the James Gunn thing. That's quirky music that people forgot about and fights at this
right. So that was kind of a signature thing for him, I think.
Yeah,
because I've seen that in the Guardians things, and I've seen that in Creature Commandos. So I think that's a James Gunn directed thing.
But I didn't hate it.
But
I thought it was cool. It was a good scene for Mr. Terrific. They didn't each get a scene with a song, And the only other song I remember is at the end when Superman's in the chair looking up at his parents. It's like, oh, cool. The end of the movie was a nice, fun song to send people off with. The movie it was. I don't think I have much more to say as far. I don't know what else you have to add about this, but I enjoyed the hell out of it. I'm excited to see where they go from here.
I had fun with it. I think it's something I could probably rewatch in a few months.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see a couple once it's on streaming or whatever. I just want so I could watch a couple scenes more or something,
Yeah, or once there's like a couple more DCU movies.
Yeah. To
like give it context.
Yeah. Well, the only other one I know of coming out, I I know Supergirl, whatever that's called, is coming out at some point because they were
Is
going to
that the
film that.
next one?
I don't know. That's the thing.
I know there's a
But
Clayface movie.
that I had no idea. I wouldn't even. And then there's the Peacemaker show coming out, or it's already filmed, and
Mm-hmm.
I know that includes at least Max Lord, Guy
Mm.
Gardner, and Hawkgirl, and at least that one scene that's been on the internet already. So I have to assume they're in more of it.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that'll. I think we have a great starting off point for a new universe, and it feels like Marvel at the beginning, where it's actually they put thought into a movie. It's not paint by numbers. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
the color palette wasn't already decided 5 movies before. It was just it
Mm-hmm.
looked visually different. It was an awesome movie. So cool.
Yeah, and it felt like comic book Superman
Exactly.
to a large degree. Yeah.
They didn't have to make it realistic, or
Mm-hmm.
they didn't try
So that
to.
is
Yeah.
that's something I complain about with the comic book movies in general. Is like a lot of them seem to be made by people who don't read the comic books, and they're a little bit embarrassed to be making a comic book movie. So they're like, "Well, how can we make this more realistic? And how can we,
And
how can we be serious with this?" And like, well, in reality, or they would do this, or we have to explain all these things about it that like I've never seen before. Like I've never read a comic book before.
yeah,
So at least this was a little bit less wasting our time with that,
yeah,
and a little bit tonally more like, okay, James Gunn has read DC Comics before, so he knows characters and like their motivations and
yeah.
how to represent them.
It didn't. I think I hate to bring it back to him, but I think it is ironic how different it is from Zack Snyder, who whether
Mm-hmm.
he read the comics or not. I think Zack Snyder read 300
Mm-hmm.
at one point, and then that was it. And he just said, okay, every comic has to be like 300. Um, because I don't get the feeling like he had a rough idea what Superman and Batman were about, and he just kind of was like, okay, let's make some fucking movies. Like he had no idea the motivations behind the Flash,
I don't know.
behind Aquaman. So it just I just liked this better. I felt that it was a more coherent movie,
I
and it was fun. It was colorful. It was exciting to see. I didn't feel bad leaving it.
mm-hmm. There are definitely Snyderisms that are like, this is something Snyder does. I'm not going to say he didn't read the comics,
Yeah.
because I'm sure he did at some point in
Oh no,
making
I'm
movies.
sure he did because he talks about
But-
how he does, but I don't know
You're
if he
right.
understood them.
And not in the same way we do,
Yeah.
necessarily, right?
He's not a big nerd. He's too rich.
There's just, he just feels like he should be the cinematographer for some movies, but not others.
Yeah.
And maybe not the director of any movies.
Maybe not the anything of any movies, but all right, cool. Let me ask you I know you we're gonna wrap up here in a minute. I actually have a hard out in a few minutes. I have to go do something. But I wanted to ask you, I know you finished RoboCop Rogue City, at least the main campaign.
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts? What did you enjoy and dislike?
I mean, I talked to you about it by text already, so all of the viewers at home can enjoy that. I mean, it was fun. It was fun to play. It wasn't too long, which is good. I think I would have gotten bored or much longer. I felt like they did try to stick to the source material almost to a fault.
Yeah.
Where, like, if you look at this as the sequel to RoboCop 1 and 2, in RoboCop 1, you're building the universe, you're setting the tone, and then RoboCop 2 kind of picks up that baton and does some things with it, some things not as well, but it also introduces some new stuff. Like the idea of Nuke, the idea of
the edges a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. And you get Kane and the Kane robot and all that. And then now this is, say, kind of not in place of RoboCop 3, but in between. And you're not really introducing a lot of new elements to the RoboCop universe. So, like, the SUX 6000 exists in the universe as an ad to make fun of the Pontiac 6000.
Yeah.
And it's basically saying the Pontiac 6000 sucks.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's a funny joke in the 80s when the Pontiac 6000 is the car.
Thing. That's 40 years ago.
It was a thing. And it was referenced in RoboCop 2 as well, I think. But then now playing the game in 2025, it's less relevant.
They almost could have come
Like,
up with something new to make fun of it.
Pontiacs are not even made anymore.
Are they? I
Yeah,
don't think they are. Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
they retired the
I was gonna
brand
say yeah, because it had such a
because
bad,
GM had too many brands. Yeah,
and it also had such a bad a bad association with it.
it had a bad period,
Yeah, Pontiac
given the
was great
Skeptic
for a long
Mobile.
time, but the '80s, '90s, and 2000s were not
Yeah.
kind to it. So
No, so I mean, the whole GM lineup in that time had some issues.
pieces of
It
shit.
was just like because they would make a platform, right? So like the Skeptic Mobile platform had an Oldsmobile version as well as a Pontiac version and a Buick version, I think. And
The cars were very
so,
yeah. The in the '80s, I remember see because you have like the LeSabres and all those different
mm-hmm,
versions. You look at them, there's like 50 versions of the same car. It's
mm-hmm,
crazy. I mean, how they all look. And now I make fun of cars for being cookie cutter. All the SUVs look identical, but geez, in the
mm-hmm.
'80s, you really had a lot of the same car out there. So
Yeah. Regardless, like, and then the final boss fight. This is another spoiler. Is against the Kane robot again, just with someone else's brain in it.
yeah,
Um, which I kind of like. I think it would have been a good place to do something new.
yeah.
Like maybe you could have had like the Kane robot was there earlier as a reference. So you're still in the same universe,
Yeah.
but then you could have brought in some other kind of conflict to be the boss fight.
Or even at the very least, just a different robot. Just
Different robot, right?
something. Because yeah,
Something.
it's just taking something we saw, and at that point you fought Ed 209 in the game multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
So Kane is really just like a slightly different Ed 209, but you're so powered up at that point it doesn't matter. He's basically as easy, or not Kane, Robo Kane, Robo Old Man. He's basically
Yeah.
just as easy to deal
I
with.
think I
So,
lost you.
oh
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is at that point you're powered up RoboCop. You're all you do is stay kind of out of his way, learn his pattern, and then shoot at him.
yeah,
Which is all boss fights in all video games. Which is it's kind of like at that point I was like, it's almost the non boss fights in the levels are harder
yeah.
at a certain point just because you have to dodge snipers and like
Well,
have some strategy or
they throw
whatever.
such an overwhelming number of people at
Mm-hmm.
you, so it's different. Yeah, it's almost like you said, it's
Right,
more challenging because there's not just one person to worry about and avoid.
right. And so once you know you figure out the pattern, and it's not a complex pattern with the Kane robot.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, the positives are like I think it mostly understood the source material. It wasn't as funny as the original movie. Um, like it, I don't think it was. It had some of the satire, but it also didn't have as much satire as the original movie.
Yeah.
And it was again kind of playing into that like thing that RoboCop 3 did of making RoboCop an action figure at the beginning.
Yeah.
Where it's like this is an action game, you're shooting people, and then but the satire of it is not.
It's kind of left out. It's not
Yeah.
really concerned because it also is a video game. But
Yeah, I mean they had some framing elements of the news minute.
but even that, it's like it wasn't. The humor has to be in the game as you're playing. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
the non sequitur news things matter in a video game. 'Cause a lot of people are
Mm-hmm.
going to skip them or just not care.
There's a couple things like that, like environmental things, like you're in the OCP office and the speaker comes on. And it's like if you have a gunshot wound, you will no longer be allowed to take a day off without a doctor's note or something.
I like when you had to when the police station's busy and you have to answer the calls and stuff. You have to like
Mm-hmm.
take the people. There were things like that were pretty fun. It wasn't building the lore, but it made it showed that these people cared about the game.
Mm-hmm.
It is interesting you mentioned because it really does feel like just you're living in the world of RoboCop 1, but there's Nuke.
Mm-hmm.
It's not there's not really any sign of it being after Robo. It's literally like they just ignored RoboCop 2 except for Nuke and Kane, which is all you
Mm-hmm.
need, I guess. But it was just it was cool. I loved it. I'm excited. There's DLC coming out this week. I'll definitely be getting it.
Mm-hmm.
You can check out the videos and see what it's like. From what I understand, some of the former gangs take over a massive building. I think they might even take over the OCP building. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, it's kind of like the Judge Dredd movie from 2012 with Carl Urban, where it's like you just have to fight your way up a building of heavily armed people. So hey, that sounds great. I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. Rufus, do you have anything else to add, my friend?
Not really.
That was awesome. We had a good
I've
talk.
got a book coming out in September.
Oh no way. You want to
But
give it a plug real quick?
no.
Okay. Well, we can do it another time, or you can mention it and then not.
Well, it's
plug
under
it.
my real name.
No, I know. Why even bring it up then? What the fuck?
If you figure out who I am, go buy my book.
He'll take them like 30 seconds if they. It's the internet nowadays.
Hey, no one knows who Rufus is.
Yeah, that's true. They think you're just the. They think you're George Carlin from Bill and Ted.
I'm the Stoic philosopher who taught Epictetus.
Epictetus, man, I wish I knew a girl with Epictetus. All right, well, for Rufus, I'm Alex signing off. Thank you everyone for joining us. Please like and subscribe, hit the notify so you know when we go live next time, and we'll be back next week talking about more nerd stuff.
Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper, and be good to each other. Take care.